There's something unforgettable about a first crush. The kind of boy you never stop thinking about, even years after graduation, even long after the world expects you to move on. For me, that boy was Liam Archer. Liam wasn't the popular jock or the golden boy everyone drooled over. He was something worse. Someone I actually knew. Someone who sat 2 seats behind me in English. Someone who laughed in a way that made my whole body feel warm. Someone who made me look forward to school when nothing else did. He was the crush I never confessed. The what if that followed me into adulthood. The secret I thought I'd carry forever. Until the day I saw him again. Older, taller, still gorgeous in that quiet, unintentional way. Still with that same half smile that knocked the breath out of my chest. And for the first time in my entire life, I didn't run from the feeling. I didn't hide. I didn't pretend I got over it. Instead, I made him a proposal. A bold one. A risky one. A completely insane one. And the part one still can't believe? He said yes. What happened between us after that? What we rediscovered? What we admitted? And the truth about why he accepted that proposal. Changed everything I thought I knew about him. And about myself. Stay until the end of the story. Because nothing about what happened next was simple. If you love emotional LGBTQ plus stories that feel real, intense, and impossible to stop watching, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter. People like to say that high school crushes fade with time, that once you grow up, the memories shrink until they feel like nothing more than childish fantasies. But that was never true for me. Not with him. Not with Liam Archer. I was 17 the first time I realized what I felt wasn't normal admiration. It wasn't a friendly glance or a simple, harmless curiosity. It was something deeper, something terrifying, something I didn't have the courage to name at that age. Liam sat 2 seats behind me in English class, and I used to pretend I dropped my pen just so I could catch a glimpse of him when I turned around. He never caught me staring. Or maybe he did. He always smiled, that small, soft, almost shy smile that made my chest tighten. Everyone else moved on after graduation. I didn't. Not really. I buried the feelings. Called them nostalgia. Laughed them off when my friends joked about old school crushes. But the truth was, he never left me. Fast forward 8 years. I was standing inside a crowded supermarket on a Wednesday evening, exhausted after a long day at work, when I heard a familiar voice behind me. Hey, Noah. My entire body froze before my mind even processed the name he said. I turned, slowly, half afraid I was imagining it. And there he was. Liam, older now, broader shoulders, jawline sharper than I remembered, hair slightly longer on top, falling into his eyes the same way it used to during senior year. He wore a navy sweatshirt, sleeves pushed up, revealing strong forearms dusted with flour, like he'd just come from baking or maybe cooking something by hand. His smile started small, then widened with recognition. No way, he said. It is you. My heart hammered, so loudly I swore the people in the next aisle could hear it. Liam, I breathed. Wow, it's been forever. He laughed softly. Feels like a lifetime, huh? It did. And yet, looking at him, it also felt like no time had passed at all. We stood there awkwardly for a few seconds, not because we didn't know what to say, but because everything I wanted to say wasn't appropriate for a supermarket reunion. He rubbed the back of his neck, still smiling like he didn't know what to do with the moment either. You look good, Liam said. I blinked, heat crawling up my neck. Thanks. You too. He shrugged, a little bashful. I'm just tired. Long day. Work. Yeah, at the bakery downtown. He said, Archer's Bread. My dad's place. I run most of it now. I stared at him, surprised. You took over the bakery? That's actually amazing. His cheeks tinted red. Faint, but real. It's honest work. I like it. There was again that same softness I remember from high school. The same gentle tone that always made me want to sit closer, lean in, say something stupid just to hear him laugh. How about you, he asked. What do you do now? Graphic design. I said, mostly freelance. He lifted his eyebrows. You were always good at drawing. I froze. You remember that? He nodded, eyes warm. Yeah, you used to doodle on the corners of your notebooks. Little sketches. I always thought they were cool. My heart twisted in a way I wasn't prepared for. All this time, I thought he never noticed me, never paid attention, never saw me, but he did, even back then. Someone bumped my cart from behind, breaking the moment. A teenage boy muttered an apology and hurried past us. Sorry, Liam said, laughing. Guess we're blocking the aisle. Yeah, I said, we're the problem customers. He chuckled, and God, his laugh, low, warm, familiar, hit me right in the chest. We stepped aside, and he leaned against the end cap, crossing his arms casually. It's really good to see you, Noah. Really. You too, I said. Try not to sound breathless. He tilted his head. We should catch up properly. Maybe grab a coffee or something sometime. My pulse jumped. Yeah, I'd like that. Cool, he said. I'm off tomorrow morning. If you're free. I am, I said too quickly, too eagerly, too honestly. He smiled like he noticed and didn't mind. Great, he said. Let's meet at Olive and Pine around 10. 10 works. We exchanged numbers. Something that felt shockingly intimate considering the last time we spoke was over 8 years ago. His fingers brushed mine when I handed my phone, and even that tiny touch sent a spark up my arm. Guess I'll see you tomorrow, he said, slowly stepping back. Yeah, tomorrow. He left with one last smile, small, warm, and devastatingly familiar. I stood in the middle of the aisle long after he disappeared, heart pounding so hard it almost hurt. Tomorrow couldn't come fast enough. Morning arrived faster than I expected. I showered twice, changed shirts 4 times, ripped apart my closet looking for something that screamed casual, but not trying too hard, but also attractive, but also effortless. I failed miserably at effortless. When I finally made it to the cafe, I spotted him immediately. He sat by the window, sunlight catching his hair, turning it a soft golden brown. He looked up the moment I walked inside, and his smile, my God, his smile was brighter than anything outside. Noah, he said, waving me over. Hey, I said, sliding into the seat across from him. We talked about life, about work, about stupid high school memories, about things we never said out loud back then. And somewhere between a story about burning 3 trays of croissants at once and my rant about annoying clients, it happened. That moment, the one where the air changes, where the conversation softens, where the eyes linger just a little too long, where you realize you're not imagining anything. He looked at me, really looked, and the warmth in his eyes wasn't friendly anymore. It was something heavier, tender, curious. Can I ask you something? He said, voice lower now. Yeah, I answered, my pulse jumping. Why did you look so nervous when you walked in? I swallowed. Because you were my crush in high school. The words slipped out before I even knew I was saying them. His eyes widened. His breath caught. His lips parted slightly. And then he asked something I absolutely wasn't prepared for. So what's the proposal? For a second, I forgot how to breathe. Liam's question hung between us like something dangerous, something bright, something I had never expected to ask so directly. What's the proposal? He said it calmly, but his eyes weren't calm. They were intense, curious, a little nervous, like a part of him already knew the answer, and the other part desperately wanted to hear it anyway. My stomach tightened. My palms grew warm. My heartbeat felt like it suddenly belonged to my throat instead of my chest. I blinked. I didn't say I had a proposal. He tilted his head, smiling softly. You didn't have to. I saw it on your face. On my face. I repeated, confused. Yeah. He leaned forward slightly, forearms on the table. You walked into the cafe like someone who rehearsed something in the mirror all morning. I kind of figured there was a reason. His voice wasn't teasing. It was gentle, almost encouraging. God, he was giving me room to say it. He was giving me a chance. My fingers curled around the edge of the table. Okay, I breathed, but don't laugh. I won't, he said immediately. And don't think I'm insane. No promises, he said, but he smiled. That soft, warm Liam smile that made my entire body relax, even when my mind was screaming. I took another breath. The proposal, I said slowly, was basically that we try something. Try something, he repeated with an eyebrow raise. Like what? My face burned. There was no backing out now. I spent years wondering what it would feel like. I said quietly, to actually know you, to really know you, not just a version I watched from across a classroom. And now that you're here and we're talking and it feels easy, I guess I just wanted to see if we could try being friends. Real friends. Maybe closer than that, if you wanted. The last part came out softer than a whisper. Liam stared at me, not shocked, not uncomfortable, but thoughtful, deeply thoughtful. I swallowed. I know it sounds stupid. It doesn't, Liam cut in. My eyes snapped to his. It doesn't sound stupid at all, he said again, voice warm and steady. Just honest. He leaned back in his chair, studying me with that quiet intensity one remembered so well. You really had a crush on me? He asked gently. I laughed nervously. Yeah. For how long? Like 2 years? Liam's eyes widened. 2 years. You're making me regret telling you. He shook his head quickly. No, I'm just surprised. I always thought you barely noticed me. I noticed you, I said, smiling despite myself. A lot. His gaze softened in a way that made my breath hitch. Can I tell you something? He asked. Yeah. I had a crush too. Silence. Full, heavy, unbelievable silence. You what? I managed. He laughed. Embarrassed, genuine, heart-stopping. I never said anything because I thought you were way out of my league, Liam said, rubbing the side of his neck. And you always sat with your friends, and you were always drawing, and I just figured you wouldn't even look twice at someone like me. Someone like him. I almost laughed. If only he knew. I looked more than twice, I said. He smiled, and this time it wasn't shy. It was warm, hopeful, almost relieved. So your proposal, he continued, it's basically asking if we can give this, whatever this is, a chance? I nodded slowly. If you want. He stared at me for a long moment. Long enough that I began to panic. Long enough that I considered snatching the words back out of the air. Then he exhaled and said, I want. Everything inside me melted. But, he added, raising a finger, I want to do it right. Not rushed. Not careless. Not like some experiment. That's not what I want either, I said. Good, he murmured, because I don't want to screw this up. He looked down at his coffee, swirling the spoon absent-mindedly. You should know, I've never dated a guy before, he said. I've thought about it, wondered about it, especially with you, but I've never done anything about it, so I don't know what I'm doing. You don't need to know, I said softly. We can figure out together. He looked up again, and there was something in his eyes I had never seen before. Not admiration, not nervousness. Permission. My breath caught. Okay, he said. Then here's what I propose. My eyebrows shot up. His proposal? Let's start simple, Liam said. Coffee today. Maybe a walk after. Then tomorrow, maybe breakfast? And then we see where it goes. That sounds perfect, I said, trying not to sound ecstatic. But there's one more thing, he added, voice suddenly quieter. What? His cheeks flushed in the soft light of the cafe. If we're doing this, whatever this is, I want to be honest the whole way. No hiding. No pretending. I can do that, I said. Good, he whispered. We held each other's gaze, not moving, not speaking, just breathing the same few inches of air. Then his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, and his whole expression changed. Something tightened in his throat. Something darkened in his eyes. Something familiar and heavy, like fear. What's wrong? I asked. He swallowed hard. It's my dad. My pulse jumped. Is he okay? Liam shook his head, reading the message again. He wants me at the bakery. Right now. Something happened. What happened? He looked up at me, eyes wide, anxious. They got robbed, he whispered, and they think the guy might come back. And before I could say anything, Liam grabbed his coat, stood up abruptly, and said, "Noah, I need you with me." The moment Liam said, "I need you with me," something in my chest shifted, like my entire body woke up at once. He didn't say he wanted help. He didn't say he needed someone. He said he needed me. And that alone was enough for me to grab my coat and follow him out of the cafe without thinking twice. The second we stepped outside, the late afternoon air hit us, cold, sharp, carrying the kind of wind that makes your heart beat faster for no real reason. Or maybe the reason was standing right beside me, walking quickly toward his truck, his hands slightly shaking. "Liam," I said gently as we reached his door. "Talk to me. What exactly happened?" He ran a hand through his hair, exhaling hard. "The bakery was robbed while my dad was in the back. They took money from the register, smashed the display. My mom wasn't there, thank God, but," he swallowed. "My dad said the guy told him he'd be back." "For what?" "I don't know," Liam said, opening the door. "But if he threatened my family, I'm not sitting around waiting." There was a fierceness in him I hadn't seen before. Not the confidence he had at school, not the easy charm. This was raw, protective, scared. "I'm going with you," I said, "no matter what." He looked at me for a second, really looked, and something softened behind his fear. "Thank you," he murmured. We got in the truck. The engine started, and for the first few minutes, neither of us spoke. The road stretched ahead of us in long gray lines, the sky dimming slowly, the world preparing for night. Only the sound of the heater and Liam's uneven breathing filled the space. "Do you think he'll actually come back?" I asked quietly. "I don't know," Liam said, "but my dad sounded shaken, and he's not the type to exaggerate things." I could feel the tension rolling off him in waves. His hand gripped the wheel, so tightly his knuckles were white. "Hey," I said. He didn't look at me. "Liam." He finally glanced sideways. "Breathe," I said, matching my voice to the rhythm I wanted him to follow. "You're driving like you're about to crash through someone's front door." He laughed under his breath. "Shaky, but real. Sorry, I'm scared, Noah." "I know," I said, "and you're not alone." He inhaled deeply, like he was trying to pull strength from the air itself. "I didn't expect today to go like this," he said. "I mean, minutes ago, we were talking about us. And now this. Us." He said us like it was real. Like whatever we were becoming wasn't just in my imagination. Maybe the timing was insane. Maybe life didn't care that something fragile and beautiful had just begun. Maybe that's how it always is. You fall for someone, and the world immediately decides to test how far you're willing to go for them. When we turned onto Oak Ridge Avenue, I saw flashing lights, a police car parked in front of the bakery, its headlights cutting through the early dusk. Liam's grip tightened again. We pulled up and rushed out of the truck. His father, Mr. Carter, stood near the entrance, speaking to an officer. His face was pale, his apron stained with flour and something darker, dust maybe from the broken glass. When he saw Liam, his expression shifted from stress to relief. "Son," he said, pulling Liam into a rough, tight hug. "Are you okay?" Liam demanded. "I'm fine," his father said. "Just shaken." "What happened exactly?" Liam asked. His father hesitated, glancing at me, then at the officer. "That guy came in wearing a black hoodie," he said. "He told me not to move. He had something in his pocket. Couldn't see if it was a weapon, but the shape looked like one. He grabbed the cash, shoved me aside, and he said he'd be back tonight." "Tonight?" Liam repeated, his voice rising. "Why? What does he want?" Mr. Carter shook his head. "I don't know." The officer stepped forward. "We're patrolling the area. Most of these threats are empty. The guy probably just wanted to scare him." Liam's jaw clenched. "Or he meant it." The officer sighed. "We're doing what we can, but we don't think he'll return." That didn't reassure Liam. I could see it in his eyes. The bakery was closed for the day. The lights were dim, the smell of fresh bread mixed with the scent of broken glass and cold fear. You should go home, the officer said. Lock the doors. We'll circle the block a few times. Mr. Carter nodded and thanked him. The officer left. The moment he drove away, Mr. Carter said, Liam, you should go home too. No, Liam said, shaking his head. I'm staying here. Liam. No, he repeated, firmer. If the guy comes back, I'm not letting you face him alone. Mr. Carter sighed, defeated. He knew his son. He wasn't going to win. Then Liam turned to me. You don't have to stay, he said quietly. This is my family's mess, not yours. I stepped closer. Liam, I said softly, I want to stay. He didn't answer right away. He just stared at me with an expression I had never seen on him. Something deep, something vulnerable, something that made my chest warm despite the cold air. Okay, he whispered. We went inside. We helped clean. We swept the glass, wiped the counters, fixed what we could. Hours passed. The street outside grew darker, quieter. Still, at around 10 p.m., Mr. Carter insisted on going upstairs to rest, leaving us alone downstairs. Liam locked the front door, then turned to me. You didn't have to stay, he murmured, but I'm glad you did. I opened my mouth to respond, but someone banged on the glass door. Hard. Once. Twice. 3 times. My heart stopped. Liam's face went pale. He looked at me, eyes wide, breath frozen. That's him, he whispered. The banging got louder, more violent, more desperate. And then a voice from outside growled, Open the door. Now! The pounding on the door didn't stop. It grew sharper, louder, more deliberate. Like whoever was outside wasn't knocking for attention, but demanding entry. Liam's breath caught. Stay behind me, he whispered. No! I started, but he stepped in front of me anyway, jaw tight, shoulders squared, his entire body braced like he could physically shield me from whatever was on the other side of that glass. The bakery felt suddenly smaller, colder. The lights flickered slightly from the old wiring, casting long, shaky shadows across the flour-dusted floor. Another bang. Open the door! The voice snapped, deeper this time, angrier like patience was running out. I felt my heartbeat in my ears. My palms were damp, my throat dry. But somehow, despite the fear pressing against my ribs, I managed to speak. Liam, I whispered, touching his arm. We need to call the police. He didn't move, didn't even look at me. He said he would come back. Liam murmured, voice low. I told you, I'm not letting him scare my family. I grabbed his wrist. You're not facing him alone. Then, unexpectedly, the banging stopped. Silence. But the silence wasn't reassuring. It was worse. Because silence meant he was still out there, waiting, thinking, preparing. Liam slowly walked toward the door, peering through the small side window. I followed him, heart hammering. Do you see him? I whispered. Liam leaned closer. I can't. Before he could finish, a figure lunged into view, slamming both hands against the glass. I stumbled back. Liam did too. The man's face was hidden beneath a black hoodie, head lowered, but I could see his mouth, a tight, twisted smirk illuminated by the streetlight outside. Open the door, he growled, voice muffled but unmistakably threatening. Unless you want me to break it. We already called the cops. Liam shouted, even though we hadn't, not yet. The man laughed, short, dark, chilling. No, you didn't. Something about the way he said it made my skin crawl, like he knew we were scared, like he was enjoying every second of it. Liam's jaw clenched. What do you want? The man leaned closer to the glass. Tell your father he owes me, and he has until tomorrow to fix it. We don't owe you anything, Liam snapped. The man tilted his head in a disturbingly calm way. Oh, you do? And if he doesn't pay, bad things happen. Liam stepped forward, as if ready to fight him through the door. I grabbed his arm instantly. Liam, stop. I could feel the tension in his muscles. He was shaking, from fear, from anger, from both. You're a coward, Liam shouted through glass. Threatening people through a door. The man Didn't react the way we expected. He didn't get angry. He didn't back down. He just smiled. A slow, cold smile that made my stomach twist. "See you soon," he whispered. Then he turned and walked away into the darkness, disappearing like a shadow melting into the street. Liam exhaled shakily, finally stepping back from the door. My hands were trembling as I grabbed my phone. "I'm calling the police for real this time." He didn't stop me. He didn't say anything at all. He just stared at the door like he could still see the man standing there. The officers arrived within minutes. They checked the street, the alleys, the parking lot. Nothing. One of them turned to Liam. "We'll patrol until sunrise," he said. "But the best thing you two can do is go home. Keep your doors locked." Liam shook his head. "I'm staying. I'm not leaving my dad alone." "You okay with someone staying with you?" the officer asked. "Actually," Liam said, glancing at me, "he's staying too." The officer nodded and left. When the bakery was quiet again, Liam finally exhaled, rubbing his hands over his face. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "You didn't sign up for this." I stepped closer. "Don't apologize. I'm here because I want to be." He looked at me, really looked, as if trying to understand why someone would choose to stay in a moment like this. "I don't know what he meant," Liam said. "My dad doesn't owe anyone anything. We barely make enough of the bakery to survive. Maybe he's lying. I offered—" "Maybe," Liam said, though he didn't sound convinced. He sat down at one of the small cafe tables, head in his hands. I pulled out the chair next to him and sat quietly. For a while, neither of us spoke. The only sound was the refrigerator humming and the wind rattling the front door. Then Liam lifted his head. "Noah," he said softly, "can I ask you something?" "Yeah." "Why did you stay?" I blinked. "I told you, because I wanted to." "Yeah, but—" he hesitated. "Most people would have run home, locked their doors, pretended they didn't see anything. But you stayed. For me." I swallowed. "Because you're not just someone from my past anymore." I said. "You're you." He stared at me, his expression unreadable, soft but intense, like he was holding a truth he wasn't ready to say out loud yet. His voice dropped to a whisper. "Can I be honest about something?" "Always." "I was terrified tonight," he said. "Not just of him, but of losing this, whatever this is becoming." My heartbeat faltered. "You're not losing me." He breathed out like that meant something to him. Then, a noise upstairs. A loud, heavy thump. Liam shot to his feet. "That's my dad," he said, already rushing toward the staircase. "Noah, come with me." I followed him, adrenaline surging through my veins. We ran up the narrow staircase, reached the hallway, and another thump, followed by something falling, like furniture hitting the floor. "Dad!" Liam called. "Dad!" No answer. We reached the last door. Liam grabbed the handle. His hand trembled. He looked at me one last time, fear raw and real in his eyes. "Get ready," he whispered. Then he pushed the door open. And what we saw inside wasn't his father. It was someone else, standing in the dark, waiting for us. For a moment, neither of us moved. The figure stood in the far corner of the room, half hidden in the shadow between the dresser and the window. The small lamp on the nightstand flickered weakly, barely illuminating the outline of someone tall, hooded, completely still. My breath caught. Liam froze beside me, every muscle locked. "Dad!" Liam whispered, though he already knew the answer. The figure didn't respond, didn't step forward, didn't speak. It was a silence that terrified me, a silence thick enough to feel, heavy enough to taste. "Who are you?" Liam said, voice shaking despite his best attempt to sound strong. Still nothing. Then the figure moved, just a shift of weight, barely more than a lean. But it was enough to jolt every nerve in my body. "Back up," I whispered. Liam didn't. He took one step forward. "Where's my father?" he demanded. The figure lifted his head slightly, enough for the dim light to hit the edge of his jawline, enough to make his presence even more unsettling. "He's safe," the man said. The voice, calm, low, almost casual, sent a chill down my spine. Liam took another step. "Where is he?" Probably downstairs, the man said. I didn't touch him. My breath trembled. Then why are you here? He turned his head toward me. Just a fraction, and I swear the temperature in the room dropped. Because your friend's father owes me something, he said, and I came to collect. We don't owe you anything, Liam snapped, voice cracking with anger. The man shrugged. Doesn't matter what you think you owe. It matters what I say you owe. Liam clenched his fists. I grabbed his arm, not to stop him from fighting, but to keep him standing, because I could feel the fear vibrating inside him, tightening every bone. You need to leave, I said, surprised my voice didn't shake. The man actually laughed, soft, humorless. You think this is about you, he asked. About either of you? He took one slow step forward. Liam stepped in front of me instantly. I won't let you touch him, Liam said. Or my dad. The man stopped, not because of fear, but because he was evaluating us, measuring something, deciding something. Interesting, he said quietly. Didn't expect that. Expect what? Liam asked. That you'd bring someone with you tonight. He tilted his head. The boy who stayed. The boy who shouldn't be here. Liam tensed. Don't talk about him. The man smirked. Oh, he murmured. You care about him. Liam's breath hitched, not from embarrassment, but from the fear of exposing something real, something raw, something that suddenly felt like a weakness the intruder could use. Doesn't matter, the man said. I'm not here for him. Then leave, I said again. He looked at me slowly, like studying a puzzle piece that didn't belong. I will, he said. I just needed to send a message. He reached into his hoodie. I gasped. Liam stepped back, instinctively shielding me. But the man didn't pull out a weapon. He pulled out a small black envelope, thin, sealed, ominous. He tossed it onto the bed. Give that to your father, he said to Liam. He'll understand. Liam didn't move. Take it, the man commanded. Liam didn't. So I reached out first, forcing my hand to stop, shaking long enough to pick it up. The envelope was light, almost empty, but somehow heavier than anything I'd ever held. The man nodded once. That's all. Then he walked past us, not running, not rushing, not afraid of being stopped. He walked between us like we were nothing more than furniture in his way. He descended the stairs. We heard the door open, then close. Silence again. It was only after he vanished that my legs finally gave out. I collapsed onto the nearest chair, my hands trembling uncontrollably. Liam stood frozen for several seconds, staring at the staircase the man had just walked down, as if expecting him to come back at any moment. Liam, I whispered. He blinked, like coming out of a trance. We need to find your dad, I said. We rushed downstairs. Mr. Carter was sitting on the couch, dazed but unharmed. Dad! Liam knelt beside him. Are you okay? I think so, he said. I heard someone coming up the stairs. I hid in the storage closet. I didn't know who it was. Liam exhaled in relief, collapsing beside him. I handed Mr. Carter the envelope. He looked at it, and his face changed instantly. His expression wasn't fear. It wasn't confusion. It was something else. Recognition. Dad, Liam said slowly. What is it? Mr. Carter didn't answer immediately. He tore the envelope open with shaking fingers. Inside was a single piece of paper. One line written in black marker. Debt never dies. Dad, Liam whispered, what does this mean? Mr. Carter closed his eyes, exhaling as if the weight of 10 years had suddenly dropped onto his shoulders. This isn't about the bakery, he said quietly. It's about something I never told you. Liam stared. Told me what? Mr. Carter looked between us, at his son, at me, and his voice trembled. It's about your uncle. Liam's face drained of color. My uncle? He died years ago. Mr. Carter nodded slowly. And he died because of them. My stomach twisted. Liam froze. Dad, he whispered, voice breaking, what did you do? Before Mr. Carter could answer, before he could explain, before Liam could ask anything else, the lights went out. All of them. The bakery fell into complete, suffocating darkness. Then, a loud crash from the kitchen, and a voice from the back of the bakery. Round two. The crash from the kitchen echoed like the sound of a building collapsing, metal hitting tile. Something falling, maybe someone. Liam grabbed my wrist instantly, pulling me behind him as the darkness swallowed the entire bakery. The silence afterward was worse than the noise, a suffocating, thick quiet that made every breath feel too loud. "Dad." Liam whispered into the dark. "Dad." No answer. A scrape of something being moved drifted from the kitchen. Then footsteps, slow, steady, deliberate, coming closer. "We need to move," I whispered, but Liam didn't move. He stood frozen, torn between terror and the instinct to protect, the instinct that made him reckless and brave at the same time. "Noah," he breathed, "I need you behind me. Don't argue." "I'm not leaving you," I whispered. A door slammed in the back. Then a voice, cold, almost amused. "Thought you'd get away from me that easily?" Liam flinched at the sound. It was the same voice from upstairs. The same man. He was still here. My pulse hammered, so loudly I thought he might hear it. "Dad." Liam shouted again. Still no answer. "Okay," I whispered urgently. "We need to get to him. Now." I reached for Liam's hand in the dark. He grabbed mine instantly, tight, desperate, warm despite everything. We edged toward the staircase, moving carefully, but every floorboard creaked like a warning shot. We were halfway up the stairs when the sound hit us. A breath. Not ours. Behind us. Very close. We spun around, but the darkness was too thick. We couldn't see him, but he was there, somewhere on the first floor, waiting. Liam whispered, "Keep going. Don't stop." We reached the top of the stairs, stumbling toward Mr. Carter's bedroom. The door was still open, just a dark rectangle in the hallway. Liam rushed inside first. "Dad." A cough. Weak, but alive. Mr. Carter was sitting on the floor, leaning against the dresser, holding his ribs. "He pushed me," he groaned. "I'm fine. Just winded." Liam fell to his knees beside him. "Dad, we have to get out of here." "I know," he said, grimacing. But he cut the power, and he's blocking the back exit. The footsteps were on the stairs now. Slow, heavy, confident. "He's coming." I whispered. Liam looked at me, eyes wide, scared, but somehow steady. "Window," I said. "We can get out through the bedroom window." Mr. Carter nodded. "Go. Go now." Liam helped his father stand, and we moved the window. It was an old frame, stubborn, the kind that sticks after years of humidity. The footsteps reached the hallway. Liam shoved the window. I pulled. Mr. Carter braced against the wall and pushed to. It finally slid open with a sharp, cracking sound. Too loud. "Go." Mr. Carter whispered sharply. "Now." Liam helped his father through first, lowering him onto the small awning below. He turned back to me. "You next," he said. "No." I whispered. "You go. He's after your family." "I'm not leaving you in here," he said, voice trembling but certain. The footsteps stopped right outside the bedroom door. "Liam," I tried. He grabbed my face with both hands, suddenly, his forehead almost touching mine in the dark. "I'm not losing you," he whispered. "Not tonight. Not ever." And then the bedroom door swung open. A silhouette filled the doorway. Liam pushed me toward the window. "Go." I climbed out onto the awning, just as Liam turned to face the intruder. I heard the struggle. A grunt, a crash, something breaking. Then Liam shouting, "Noah, run." I jumped down from the awning, landing hard on my palms but not stopping. I ran to the back of the house, heart pounding in my throat as I heard more crashing above me. Fighting, furniture smashing, someone groaning in pain. "Liam!" I yelled. I looked around frantically. There had to be something, anything I could do. A ladder, a rock, a way back in. Then I saw the police car. Not the one from earlier. A different one. Headlights off, rolling silently down the street. My breath caught. An officer stepped out. "Are you Noah Parker?" he asked urgently. "Yes." "Liam's inside. He's fighting him." "You have to." The officer didn't wait. He sprinted toward the house, radio already in hand, shouting into it for backup. More lights appeared at the end of the street. More sirens. More flashing red and blue. Within seconds, officers were rushing into the house. I stood frozen outside, shaking, waiting, praying. It felt like an hour, but it was probably 2 minutes. Then Liam came out to the front door, coughing, hair messed up, shirt torn at the shoulder. His father followed behind him with another officer supporting him. But Liam was searching, scanning, looking for me. When he saw me across the yard, he stopped. Then he walked. Then he ran. And when he reached me, he didn't hesitate. He grabbed me and pulled me into him, arms tied around my back, chin pressed to my shoulder like he needed to feel I was real. "You're okay," he whispered, voice breaking. "Thank God. Noah, you're okay?" "I thought he hurt you," I said, gripping the back of his shirt. "I thought I lost you," he breathed. "We didn't let go. Not for a long time." The officers took the intruder away in handcuffs. He glared at us once as they pushed him into the car, but it didn't matter anymore. He was gone, and we were still standing. When the chaos settled, Liam walked me to the sidewalk, our hands brushing until he finally just took mine completely. "Noah," he said quietly, "there's something I need to tell you." I looked up at him, heart thudding in my chest. "What?" He exhaled shakily. "Tonight showed me something. I didn't realize how much I needed you, until I thought I might lose you." His voice softened. "And earlier, when I said I want to take things slow, I still mean that. But I also want you to know this isn't just curiosity, or timing, or fear." He squeezed my hand. "I want you," he said. "Not just today. Not just because of tonight. I want you in my life." My chest tightened in the best way. "I want you too," I whispered. He smiled, tired, bruised, shaken but real. "Then let's figure this out," he said softly. "Together." I nodded. "Together." The police lights faded from the street, and the night finally quieted again. But the world between us wasn't quiet. It was beginning, for the first time. For real. Sometimes it takes fear to reveal what's been inside someone all along. Sometimes you don't know the value of a connection until the moment you realize how easily it can disappear. Liam and Noah learned that love isn't always born in peaceful places. Sometimes it begins in the middle of chaos and survives because two people finally found courage to hold on. What would you have done in Noah's place? And what would you confess if fear stripped away all your doubts? If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story.